Number 5 is just choosing the right stand. Now, that can be either a stand, like if you're familiar with, with deer hunting, that could be like a ladder stand or what we call like a lock-on. So it has like, either screw-in steps or just steps that's going to get you up, where those kind of stand you can get anywhere from 20 to 25 feet. A ladder stand seems to be what more people feel comfortable with, or even a ground blind. We have a lot of clients, like we talked earlier, that they're kind of scared of heights and they want something on the ground. Or now you can get like, a redneck blind or something that's elevated that you can still rifle hunt out of, muzzleloader hunt out of, and archery hunt and still be successful. So that's kind of where it starts, is finding out what makes me feel comfortable. Like I have a big old butt. So those little lock-on stands that used to work 25 years ago, I can last about 3 hours and then my butt is on fire. So I need something more of, like a ladder stand that has a bigger platform for my big old butt where I can hunt all day. And that's the other thing too. What are you looking at? Are you a guy that, like, my wife only lets me hunt evenings? I'm just speaking that, like, this could be some guy. I can only hunt evenings, so it's got to be comfortable, but not super comfortable, because after 4 hours, she's blowing up my phone to get back home. Or if you're a guy that's like, hey, I take off a week's vacation in November, and I'm going to ride that stand every day for 12 hours. If that's the case, you want something that is super, super comfortable.
So the guy that we got the teleporta potty from, the owner of About Anywhere Porta Potties, has a porta potty up in a tree that he hunts out of.
Hey, and I'm awesome. I'm sure that it works. So figuring out, like, there's positives and negatives with all those. With the lock-on stand, that the higher up you get, obviously scent control, because it's going out a little farther. But if you're hunting up north, there's not a lot of big trees and the wind blows, you feel like you're going to get seasick, up at 25 feet. A ladder stand has a bigger platform. You feel more comfortable that you can move. A ground blind gives you a whole different perspective. You're out of the wind, you're out of the elements. And then the factor of, there's really nothing like having a monster buck in front of you at 20 yards, eye to eye. That's just on a whole nother level of coolness that most people just don't understand until you've done it. So just those are a couple of things of figuring out, okay, I'm scared of heights. I have a big butt. All right, so I'm looking at something that's going to be on the ground. Then on top of that, where are we putting it? So the other thing is, like, you can't just, I'm going to hunt tomorrow and take a ground blind and plop it up right next to where a deer trail is and expect the deer to be okay. You do that and they lose their mind. They walk by and be like, who parked that car right there? I'm out of here. So if you're going to do that, set it up out in the yard a few days. That way you can just, get all the scent off of it, and then brush it in where it literally, is invisible. And I love being in a stand, a ladder stand, but like for my son, we just found that it works better on the ground. And man, there's just nothing like having even does at 10 yards on the ground. So if we do that, we did that a couple weeks ago before the season. We brushed in the blind. We waited about 2 weeks to hunt it. Make sure and try and keep all the windows closed and keep everything, brushed in. And then the last part of this thing that's one of the most crucial is, how are you getting in and out of that stand? What I mean by that is, like, the intrusion. Like, are you walking through the cornfield in the morning that the deer are feeding in and you're blowing every deer out? And then you're figuring out, like, man, I got in the stand and I didn't see any deer. Or is it the flip side, that you're getting out of the stand in the evening, you're walking through that cornfield and blowing every deer that's out in the cornfield? So trying to figure out, like, how am I going to, one, figure out what works best, whether that's a box blind, a ground blind, a ladder stand, a lock on. Those are crucial. And then figuring out, where am I placing this? How am I going to get in and out? Is this just a morning spot? Is this just an evening spot? Because we have those that are like, all right, well, this spot you can slip in the back door in the morning. The deer are going to feed out and they're going to feed away from me, so I can slip out. All right, this spot, I can do the same thing. I can slip in the afternoon. They come out, they feed, and then by the time it's dark, they've kind of fed the other way. I slip out the back door, because you have limited amount of opportunities to blow those deer, what we consider like out of the field, and then it's over. They're just like, I'm going to go find another field to get in. I mean, why am I going to, there's no point of me, as a deer, I'm going to be out in this field when I know that someone's hunting me, and every time that, that they're out in the field, that something's out there trying to get them, they're gone. So those are very overlooked things. And we have some spots that we consider all day spots. Like, it's maybe like in a core travel corridor, which means like the deer may be moving all day. So it may be a spot that we tell clients, like, if you're hunting this spot, we're putting your buddy in there at 6 a.m. and you are not to come out till after dark, because at any point those deer can be moving through there. So understanding the deer movement, going back to the trail cameras, which will help kind of dictate, where the deer are coming from, will make all the difference. But that's really, I think, overlooked of like a guy, why did you put the stand there? You just, that's a good tree. Well, I'll tell you this much. I'll much rather have a stand in the most uncomfortable tree to kill a deer than be like, oh yeah, I put it right there because that tree was comfortable. But your shooting lane is 60 yards away with the bow. You're watching. Are you wanting to watch deer? Or you want to shoot deer?
Right.
And so you have to tell clients that, like, hey, where we're at, there's not a lot of trees. This tree stand is going to suck, but it is in the right spot. And usually after that morning, they're like, yeah, you're right, it does. But every deer walked exactly where you said that they were going to walk. And my butt is numb, but it's well worth it.
And sometimes your favorite and most comfortable thing is not the best thing.
Exactly.
That translates over with gun sales a lot, because people will be given the instruction, come in and hold the gun and buy the one that feels best in your hand. Well, the truth is, you are going to carry this gun way more than you're going to shoot it. And sometimes the right gun for certain people is the most concealable gun. And it might not be the most fun gun to shoot.
Right.
You have to make yourself do it. So I can imagine that there's some things in the hunting world that are just the same. Brad, we're out of time. It's been so great to have you. Remind folks one more time how to get a hold of you if they would like to come hunt your great lodge.
Well, we would love for some of our viewers to come hunt with us. The easiest way is to go to our website. It's just huntprooutfitters.com. It has all the information on our hunts and stuff, or just look us up on Facebook at Pro Outfitters.
Thank you so much, Brad, and thank you for supporting the Gun Shop Show. As you guys know, the regulars have seen the Pro Outfitters mobile cam. Previous episodes and more available at gunshopshow.com.